Hey guys, how's it going? So today we have the pleasant task of edging all the grass over here. It's probably one of the most physically taxing jobs. I mean, edging, mulching, all those kinds of things, pretty physically taxing, but so satisfying. I am really looking forward to the end result. Benjamin's out here to help. Say hi. It's also a 4-layer kind of morning. It's that chilly out, which is probably the best kind of morning to do a job like this. And this time, because this grass loop is so large, I do have some helpers. I have a couple of guys that are going to come in and help me because I've done all of the edging pretty much up to this point. And yeah, it's a lot of work. And so we thought, well, to get this done in a day at best, I'm gonna need to have some help. So here's the deal. We have a 15-foot grass pathway that comes kind of like directs you into the orchard area, cut flower garden. So, you know, it'll connect to grass eventually. This mulch will be grass as well. And so we'll have like the island flower bed here, but it comes out there, it curves around, and then it comes back here. Now the interesting part is that the sprinklers, so you can see a sprinkler right in here, and there's a sprinkler right here. Those two sprinklers are attached to this zone where the mulch is. And so where we seeded here, they water this little section and this little section as well. So we'll have to reseed those sections when we seed this one here, because that's the point when they will be watered. So it's gonna look a little weak right at the entrance points at this stage, but it won't for long. I was planting over here yesterday, and this is kind of what encouraged me to, or motivated me to get out here and just get this job done. We planted these echinacea here, and I told Aaron, like, oh, they're going to be perfect as a border plant. The actual border is here. So, like, they are several feet back from the actual border. You can see a sprinkler right in here. Anyway, so there's going to be some areas where we need to cut a significant amount out. Benjamin, it's going to be satisfying. Are you going to help with a shovel?
I don't have my shovel.
Do we need to go get your shovel?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that. So let me show you the tools we're going to be using. It's pretty darn simple. So right in the back of the gator here, you can see some of the tools we'll be using. I typically use this one first to make my line. And then I come in with this flat shovel right here, and it scrapes up a good portion of sod. I've also got a 15-foot pipe right here so that we can lay it down on the whiter parts, and so we can make sure to keep a consistent 15 feet all the way around. So I think what we'll do in terms of process here, because I have helpers and I don't want them to have to like stand around and wait for me to like make the perfect line, I think I'm going to go through and kind of cut a rough edge, and they'll come through and kind of scrape all the sod away from the sides, and then I'll come back through and kind of refine the edge a little bit. I don't expect it to be, it's kind of like our other areas, it's not going to be perfect, and it won't be probably for a few seasons, because there's going to be a lot of spots where we need to reseed, or maybe a spot that I've decided to shift the path a little bit one way or the other. But I was just going to show you on this last pathway what we do. So you can see over here the edge that I cut on this pathway. I like to take it down like a few inches so the grass is higher than the flower bed. I don't know, hopefully you guys can see just how high that is. It makes it very easy to keep a sharp edge, and it also keeps the grass from spreading as quickly into the flower beds. It still will if you leave it alone, like eventually it'll make its way in, but we usually trim an edge once a week, so it really keeps it nice and sharp. And it keeps me from having to come in all the time with shovels and tools and actually edge it that way, which is how I always used to do it, because I used to not cut it so deep. But the deep method, it's probably got a name. I know a lot of other people do it. It really works well. So I'm going to start on the outer area first, probably not using this area as my guide. I'm going to start at the next sprinkler that I can find, which is somewhere over here. Hang on. I can never find them. I passed it. There's no way. There's no way the sprinkler's this far. Where is it, Aaron? Is it possible it could be further in than we're thinking? All right, so we are having a very difficult time locating where the sprinklers are. That's how thick the grass has grown. So we're gonna go ahead and take a few minutes to tag where the sprinklers are at. We're gonna put flags in the ground, and that will make the shaping process a lot easier, I think. All right, guys, so I just wanted to show you really quick what this looks like with the flags in the ground, because the flags indicate where sprinklers are. So look at how far in we're gonna be needing to take this. And this is why I've kind of been putting this job off, because I knew how enormous it was gonna be. So right here It's gonna look so good though. Boy, yeah, look at that. This is our neighbor's dog, Gracie. She's visiting. Hi, sweet girl. All right, guys, it's actually the next day, and I'm super thankful for Paul and Jordan's help because I would have been out here for a week doing this job. It's a lot of work to edge, especially if you are lifting sod too. You know, there were so many areas where it had crept so far into where the flower beds are that it just creates that little bit of extra. So I'm going to walk you along and kind of show you what the pathway looks like. Now, I did start using our 15-foot pipe right at the beginning just to make sure that I was maintaining that 15-foot width on our pathway, and then I quickly stopped using it, just deciding that since this isn't really like, it curves around and you're not really seeing all of the pathway at once. You are now because there's not as many plants, but eventually you won't really see it. And I thought, is it really worth moving the sprinklers? So I just used the sprinklers as my guide, and once I see the drone footage, which you're about to see, I haven't even seen it, I'll take a look at the shape. If there are areas where I got it like too thin, I'll fix it and make sure that we eventually get it a little wider or thinner in places, you know what I mean. We'll adjust if we need to. It's looking so much better, you guys, so much better. And I went ahead, I think I already explained that the sprinkler that feeds this section here and this section here actually belong to this zone. So we will reseed these areas when we seed this one. But I went ahead and kind of tried to cut in so you could see the shape of the pathway on both sides. So yeah, you can kind of see what we're going for there. But you can really distinctly see what's going on out here. It's awesome. I'm loving it. So you can see here where we edge, I try to get kind of deep. It's probably, I don't know, 3 inches or so deep. And then we scrape soil and grass away so that there's like a definite edge. Makes it a lot easier to maintain going forward. There are some little areas where we need to reseed, but we just didn't really know where those areas were until we got after this project. So I had planned on coming along and refining the edge, because when I went along and did my first edge, it was kind of just rough, and usually I come through with the other shovel and kind of refine it, but this is such a large area and it looks so much better and it looks so good. I think we're going to just skip that step for now, because there are areas we need to reseed and things like that. I think that'll be something I do later on. Plus, with our trimmer, that's what we use to help keep an edge through the year. That does a pretty good job too, and I'm going to show you how we do that. But I just kind of wanted to walk you along here. Now that I know I'm not going to really come in with another shovel at this point, we'll kind of rake the wood chips back over to the edge, so we've got a nicely mulched area. Oh, let me pop over here and show you. Look at that. You can really see right there. I do think I got it a little thin on this side, width-wise. And look at this, we actually got a little bit of frost last night. It's chilly out here today. It actually was enough to take my dahlias. They're all looking pretty black this morning, which we did our big harvest of flowers and like last minute stuff yesterday, just in time. So this is the area where I think we're gonna have to do a little bit of reshaping. Like right here, when I followed the sprinklers, you can see it's just kind of like straight instead of nicely curved. So I think the sprinklers being where they're at will be okay. I might need to pop 2 sprinklers out just a little bit in order to get that curve. But for now, at least I know all the grass is being watered, and we'll deal with that shape stuff probably next season. And then right beyond this curve, I think I got a little bit thin. I think the sprinkler that's right here and the sprinkler that's right there are too close to each other. But I don't know, and it may not even matter, you guys. Like, it's super wide. We can get the gator through, which is what we were concerned about. And once we have all of this planted, you will not even be able to tell any kind of width difference, I don't think. And then right over here is where the high tunnels were. So this is going to become a big planting area here. And here's the Quonset cherry that we dug up from in front of the house when we took those flower beds out. Here comes Aaron. Looks like he's spreading stuff. He's bringing the trimmer out so we can show you how we keep an edge here. But let me show you the ending here. So you see how it kind of just like meets the opening of the flower garden here. So again, this corner we will reseed. This one doesn't look terrible. We'll just have to reseed a couple areas there. I am just so thrilled with it. It looks so good. Okay, let me go grab the trimmer and I will show you how we keep and maintain an edge. So this is the trimmer we use right here, but you can use any trimmer that you have to do this. You can do the exact same thing. So typically when you're trimming, you know, you're going along like this. When you're edging, what you do is you just flip it this way and go like this. So it's going more at a vertical instead of cutting it, you know, more horizontally. And you just go along your edge. Just like that. Of course, I mean, we're not really seeing a whole lot of action with this right now because I just edged it, but that helps maintain it beautifully throughout the season. And actually, Aaron was telling me that some of the professionals even remove this guard so that they can see what they're doing, but I probably wouldn't do that, and I definitely wouldn't do it without wearing eye protection. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys how we do that. Hey, Russell. Hey, bud. So anyway, that's pretty much it on how we edge our flower beds, how we maintain that edge. We will be spreading some amendments on the grass this fall yet, so some soil acidifier and gypsum, both to help condition our soil, bring down the pH a little bit, and the gypsum also helps with our hard pan out here. It's something you have to consistently apply, but it does help if you're consistent with it. And then some lawn winterizer, which Aaron will be spreading on all of our grassy areas. In terms of weed control out here, it has been pretty light. This has been the easiest area to keep maintained. Paul went through one time, kind of did a hand weed like we did in the big section. I weeded so much in that big section of grass and it's looking so great. It feels worth it at this point, looking at what it looks like now. I mean, look at that. It's just asking for some big shade trees. Love it. But this space here has been the easiest to keep under control with weeds, which is awesome. So the next step is to start seeding around the cut flower garden one section at a time. So I'm thinking we'll probably do this section first so that we can reseed these corners and make it look complete. And then we will take after the other side and the front section here. And Benny is still scheduled to come this fall, put sprinklers in the interior and then also in the orchard. I'm going to be seeding some meadow grass in there. And I do think we're going to seed grass pathways in here because we are so pleased with how these look. that we kind of did a rework of our organization. I think we'll be planting a little bit differently in order to accommodate the grass pathways. I suppose we could have seeded a section at a time earlier on this season, but we really just wanted to keep the access to this space as open as possible. And like the vine crops, I had so many of them, they were spilling out all over onto all sides where they were planted, and things just were kind of creeping up on the edge of where we wanted to plant grass. So anyway, it just seemed like a better idea to wait. We may not get the whole perimeter seeded this fall, and that's totally fine because it is getting kind of late, but it will be something that we organize ourselves enough to where we can systematically kind of move through and get everything seeded. It's going to look beautiful. Oh my goodness. I think about like what it's going to look like from the drone view once we have like the whole grass, all the grass areas done and really looking sharp and beautiful, and almost everything is mulched out here. Oh, it's just awesome. I think the last patch that we need to mulch is right here. We're waiting for one more load of wood chips, I think is what it's going to take. And then also there's a big pile of dirt over there. As soon as Chad gets that up, we'll get the wood chip spread over there as well. Also, real quick, look what the cold night did to our dahlias last night. Oh, they're looking rough. If you pick through, you could maybe find a couple of nice blooms, but I mean, largely done. And tonight it's supposed to be 28, so that'll pretty much button up our cut flower garden space. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. The next few big projects we have to do this fall will be digging the dahlias, digging and storing, and then bulb planting. I have all my bulbs here. We have a lot, like double last year's bulbs. Anyway, we'll get it done. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.